Thanks for clicking on our tutorial. Hey, in this video, we're going to talk about in-ear mixing here in our context at Real Life Christian Church. We're going to do it in 3 parts. First, we're going to configure our app, the one that we use. Secondly, we're going to talk the basics of mixing in general. And then lastly, we're going to talk some troubleshooting, some common troubleshooting we've had to do, and the solutions to those problems. Let's get started. All right. Part 1, configuring the app. Now, before we do any of that, you have to first get connected to our wireless network, and it's a hidden network specifically for us. And so you'll need to know that. If you don't, email me. I'll get you the info of how to do that. Once you are connected to our network, then you can download the app. I would go to the App Store and look for our app name, which is SQ4U. And that's right, it's the number 4, like 90s hip hop artist number 4U. And it looks something like this. Okay, now you're going to download the app, and the first screen you'll see once you open it is it'll pop up this warning, and you'll want to allow that. That's connecting to our board. Hit allow, and then you're going to go through this and read every single word. Don't miss one word. And once you get to the bottom, hit accept. Now you're in our app, and you're going to connect to our board. Now our board has a name. The first one you're seeing there is demo, but you scroll up to see our name, which is RL_FOH. That's Real Life Front of House, which is our board's name. You see that? You hit connect. So I just turned my device sideways so I can see better. But once you get connected to our board, you're then going to be presented with a list of possible accounts to log into. I'm going to log into Wireless 0 because that's the one that I use the most. The password is Real Life with an uppercase R and an uppercase L. Okay, once you got your password in, check the box that says remember me and log in. Now you're going to be presented with these 4 blocks. There's nothing assigned to them, and you'll notice there's one of them named me. But we're going to name these. So we'll start with the first one. You double tap it, and you name it band, like I did here. Once you've named it band, then you click on the assign button. Okay, I have these pre-assigned, but you'll want to assign these. I have bass, AG, sax. There happens to be a second AG. If you have it, click it. Keys, and EG. And that should cover all the band. Then you're going to hit back. And they should all be listed there now as sliders. That's perfect. Now hit back again. And now we got one filled. It's called band. Now let's go to the second one. It's going to be called vocals. I've already put my name in. Let's hit assign. Okay, again, I've pre-assigned mine, but you can see which ones you should choose. Anything with a name, basically. Josh, Brooke, Amy, Psalm, because that was somebody reading Psalms in our service. Drew, Ron, Will, and Wireless 4. Those are all singers or speakers. We put them all in this group that we call vocals. All right, you hit back. You can see all of their sliders now available. Hit back again, and we're going to do, now we have 2 groups, band and vocals. Now we're going to do the 3rd group. Double tap. You'll see I've already named it drums. You'll do the same. Then we go to assign. Okay, I've already pre-configured these, but you'll want to do the same. I chose kick, up snare, L-tom, H-tom, over L, unsnare, over R, congas, and shaker. Pretty much anything to do with drums. You'll do that, get all those highlighted, you hit the back button, and you'll see all of them available to be used as sliders. Hit back again. Now we've got 3 groups done, 1 left to go. So let's tap on that one, double tap. And me is saved for you, not me, but you. It's already typed in there, me, click assign. And then what you're going to put in here is whatever you're using for that day. So for me, I'm going to highlight Josh. And it moved it to a different group, but I'll just hit yes. So now I have Josh in there, and I'm also playing acoustic guitar, so I'm going to do that as well. So now I have my 2. You do whatever yours is, and you are set. Now I also, in this group, use it for miscellaneous things. And what I mean by miscellaneous is there's 4 things that I use. One is the click, which I'm going to do is on the 2nd page, click and track. And I also do video. If we ever use that, you want to have it in there. And then I do this one next to track called odd center. That's the audience mic. And we'll talk a little bit about the mixing of those in a bit. All right, hit back and hit back. So you see all your sliders. Hit back again. And now you got all 4 groups done. I always set the mixed overall volume just a little bit below 0. I would do that, and that gives you room to boost it if needed. In the next section, we're going to talk about mixing, but for that, we're done with part 1. We're going to move in to part 2. Okay, now we've reached part 2, which is the basics of mixing for in-ears. Now we're going to do it in context of our app, but this is should be helpful for you because each time we get together and we rehearse, the first song we do just specifically to give us time to do the app mixing for our ears. And so I would encourage you to do this process during that song when you're on. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go on your app, open up to this section and start rolling down all of the wheels. You want all of these wheels. You can see my wheels are turning. Roll them all the way down to where you don't hear anything in your ears. Now double click on band, your first one, and it opens up your sliders and start bringing these up one at a time up to about the 10 to 0 level, somewhere in there. Bring one up and then start matching that volume. That doesn't mean the same level here, but just in your ear, the same level. Make sure you hear them all equally. Okay, no, nothing's sticking out and nothing's lost. You have them all equal. Once you get to that point, hit the back button and roll that wheel, the band wheel, back down to where it's off. You've just basically set them to all be balanced. Now do the same thing for vocals. Open up vocals and you'll have 2 singers, 2, maybe 3 singers. Do the same thing. Bring one singer up to about 10 to 0 and then you do the other singer so that they sound the same volume in your ear as the original singer, the 2 singers. If there's 3 singers, do it for all 3 so they sound the same. It doesn't matter how loud overall, you just don't want one sticking out over the other. You want them to be the same. Okay, when you got that, hit back, do the same thing, scroll that wheel back down. Now for drums, it's a little tricky because there's a lot of mics in the drums. I would just suggest you use this. This is my mix, which I've kind of over time honed in, so it's a good starting point for you. Use this mix to get yourself a good starting point. So you set everything to this levels, hit the back button, and then scroll that all the way down. So now you should only hear me. Now you open up the me part. Double click the me. Open it up. Find yourself. So for me, it's Josh. And I'm going to raise that up to where about 0 or so, to where I have a decent volume of just me singing in my ears. Like I get it set just like that. Once you have yourself in a good place, then you go back and you start mixing these groups by bringing them in. We'll start with the band. See my wheels starting to turn? I'm going to bring it up until it's under me. Like I want me to be out front and hear myself the best. But I start bringing up the band so I can hear everything in the band, but it's not overpowering me. Same thing with vocals. Bring it up to where it's where you want it to be in mixture with the band and yourself. You always want yourself high enough, but bring up the vocals to where they need to be and then bring up the drums. And the drums will now add the last piece of your whole mix. You should be you on top, and then the rest of them should fall into place under that. Now you should have a pretty decent mix going. Once you have that, double tap me and start doing these miscellaneous. Now there's 3 things in here I want to point out. One is the click. Click you want to hear when it's needed. So when the band is quiet or during a count in, you want the click up. Unless you're a drummer. The drummer should hear the click all the time. But if you're not a drummer, you want to be following the drummer for your rhythm. So you bring your click, only use the click when the drums aren't playing, you can hear it. When the drums are playing, then all you hear is the drums, not the click, as far as rhythm goes. So that's where you want to find that sweet spot of that. And then on track, I would put it about the same level as the click as far as in the mix. You don't want it too much louder than the click. You want it to be kind of background. And then audience, this odd CTR, that is like chocolate cake. You can have too much and it makes you sick, not enough and you miss it. That's what this does to our mix. It gives you a little bit of echo, kind of roomy feeling. If it's off, it's dry. You sound like you're in a closet. If it's too loud, it sounds really boomy and it's hard to hear anything. Everything's echoing. You find a sweet spot to where it gives you just a little bit of room and it feels so good. It's like having one piece of chocolate cake that hits the spot. So think of it in that terms. Use the odd center. Once you get those set, you have a perfect mix, maybe with a little bit of tweaking, but perfect, pretty much perfect mix. With that, we're going to move to the last part. Congratulations, you made it to part 3. So this is the troubleshooting section. There are 2 things that we see pretty often. I just want to give you the answers to. One, the first problem we run into is what we call the no mix problem. And that just means that when you open your app, there's this insignia on all the sliders that says no mix, no mix, no mix, no mix. That just means you need to be reconnected to your mix. Let me show you how to do that. click on Mix Select in the corner, and just make sure there's a blue checkbox next to your name or your mix. If there isn't, you just tap the mix and the blue check mark will show up. Hit back, you'll be back to normal. The second thing is just we don't have a connection to the board. When you're opening the app originally and you're scrolling through the list of possible things, you can't find RL_FOH like we talked about. Basically means you don't have a connection to the board, which means you're either not connected to our wireless network or the board is off. Remedy that and you're in business. Thanks for watching.